Did he make any accusations at you?
Yeah, he did. He said that Thursday didn't have enough details, and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. And I asked him, like, what are you talking about? Like, I just ran through whole Thursday and Wednesday with you. Like, we just spent the last 20 minutes talking, and there's not enough detail because I thought it was an ordinary day.
So after saying yes he did, in terms of did he make accusations, you can hear him really struggling to spit out what this guy said. So what he's trying to say is that the guy said to him Thursday didn't have enough details and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. But he splutters and struggles over it big time. That to me says this is a cause of major concern for him. In this instance, the struggling to spit it out, I don't think this is about his brain saying, this is a lie, don't say it, because everyone has been saying by this point that it really does appear like something happened on the Thursday night to the children, not the Friday morning. So it's a topic that Daniel has tried very, very hard to avoid. So he's not going to come out and make this accusation of this officer accusing him of this when he's tried so hard to avoid the topic. So the reason he's stumbling here is because it is a topic he does not want to bring up. But at the same time, he wants to play the victim. He wants to get sympathy and he wants to discredit this officer. So he's basically doing this wrestling internally between wanting to really make this officer look bad, and presumably part of the motive there is that down the track he wants to discredit this guy, but also this is someone who has a need to be in control. He would have been greatly affected by this confrontation because this is someone trying to take control away from Daniel. This is someone in authority who has challenged his narrative. So it's something that for him, he needs to act on. He has to publicly try and discredit this person as payback for how they made him feel. But like I said, at the same time, he's struggling because he doesn't want to bring up the topic of something happening to the children on Thursday night. What we're seeing here, to me, definitely points towards him having trouble addressing Thursday night. And he's tried every which way to go, oh, Thursday was just any other day. It's not important, so why should I remember details? He's really, really trying to oversell the notion that Thursday was insignificant, so why would he have a lot of details? He's saying, there's not enough detail because I thought it was an ordinary day. Ironically, for starters, he's dumping Janie in it here, because when she gives an account of the week leading up to when the children went missing, she brushes over Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday is when she starts giving details about them being out playing with worms in the garden or whatever it was she said. So he's basically dumped Janie in it already. But here's the thing. Allegedly, Thursday is the last time that Malaya and Daniel saw the children. Maybe, allegedly, it was a normal day. But here's the thing. First of all, they would have been questioned on the Friday, the very next day, about what happened on the Thursday. So there shouldn't have been any problems with remembering because he's already had to retell it on the Friday. And then several times more over the subsequent days. He was interviewed, I think, twice on the 2nd, on the 4th, on the 6th, and we don't know when else after that because they're the only ones that are listed in the documents. But within a four-day period, he'd been questioned, meaning that he's told detectives, allegedly, what happened on Thursday already. So for this guy to be saying there's not enough detail and Daniel saying, well, there's not enough detail because I thought it was an ordinary day. I could tell you pretty much everything from when I got up yesterday morning to when I went to bed yesterday morning. And it was an ordinary day. But when we're talking about a situation where you've lost someone, now in this instance, yes, maybe, allegedly, the children have just gone missing, but this is still a significant moment. So you remember the last time you saw them. I could talk to you about the last time I saw my father before he died. I could talk to you about the last time I saw my mother before she died. I could talk to you about conversations, final conversations. And people will tell you this. The day before may seem like an ordinary day at the time, but it does become a significant day once it becomes in your mind the last day that you were with them, the last day that you did anything with them at all, or that you interacted with them. So him claiming, oh, it's just an ordinary day, that's why there's no detail, that's BS. Because even if the children went missing Friday morning, that day should be permanently etched in his brain as the last day that he was with those children, if he actually gave a damn about them. But we know that's not the case. So by pushing really, really hard to convince people that, well, the reason there's no details about Thursday is that it wasn't really significant, he's actually showing that it was. Okay, so let's move on to Janie.
On May 1st, nobody was here. On May 2nd, when Jack and Lily disappeared.
So it seems that Janie and Daniel are both keen to push the narrative that there was nobody there on May the 1st. But note the way she says it. She says on May the 1st, and then there's a long pause before she says nobody was here. The thing is, it shouldn't matter to Janie who was there on May the 1st. That pause doesn't make sense if it was just an ordinary day. People had already at that point when she was doing this Facebook tour decided that, yeah, okay, the talk of a party the day before probably wasn't true. But my question is this: if Janie and Daniel were both pushing that Thursday was an ordinary day and the children went missing Friday morning, why are they also pushing so hard to convince people that, no, there was no one there on Thursday other than the 3 people that have been named as being on the property? I mean, at the end of the day, if, as they claim, Lily and Jack went missing on Friday morning, then if someone was there on Thursday, it shouldn't really have any bearing on the case. The fact that they're so defensive certainly raises questions. So she goes on to talk about May the 2nd, and you get a pause after she says on May the 2nd. And then she says when Jack and Lily, and she pauses again. And she starts to say one thing, stops, and then changes it to disappeared. So is she about to say another word, or is she stumbling over the word disappeared? Because it sounds like there's a there, like an M about to happen. Either way, she seems to be struggling with coming out with basically saying that Lily and Jack disappeared on May the 2nd. You've heard me say countless times how the brain doesn't like to lie and how it will stall, it will throw up barriers. And it seems like Janie's brain has done that. It is trying to stop her from saying on May the 2nd, when Jack and Lily disappeared. So why stumble when it comes to talking about Jack and Lily disappearing on the 2nd? And why is it so important for her and Daniel to both establish that, no, there was nobody there on the Thursday? She pauses after saying May 1st and after saying May 2nd, like her brain does not want her to give this specific timeline. And why does she stumble over saying Lily and Jack disappeared? So her stuttering and pausing over dates in terms of the disappearance, and even her stuttering over saying disappeared, is a huge red flag to me. That certainly points to the idea that, yes, Lily and Jack, whatever happened, it occurred on the Thursday. Because both her and Daniel really do struggle with talking about Friday in terms of when the children allegedly went missing.